Ricochet. Welcome to Stush Nerd Summaries. This segment on my channel will focus on summarizing the plot of a book I have read on a chapter-to-chapter basis. I highly recommend getting the book yourself and read to your heart's pleasure, so that way you can experience the story yourself. Take for example, I went to a restaurant that had some great food. If you have the opportunity to be able to go there, then I recommend you go do it yourself, like any book I summarize for you. This video is a plot summary of the selected work. Reading the full work is highly recommended for further understanding of the characters, themes, and plot. Also, whenever I read a book, I always finding new words that I never heard of or read before, so I'll share some words that I've learned through each chapter as I go along summarizing it. Chapter 1. We are introduced to Julian Hemmings as she gives birth to her second son, BJ. Julian refused to do a C-section, and pushing the baby out nearly killed her. Julian is now married to a rich older man named Bernard Hemmings, who is a far cry from the father of her firstborn son, Jared, who supposedly tricked her into a relationship. Shortly after giving birth, she leaves her job to take care of her newborn BJ. Chapter 2. One day, Julian visits her parents' home with 2-year-old BJ and 6-year-old Jared. Julian's sisters were also visiting with their children. The boys then went to play with their cousins, and things turn on its head when BJ bites his cousin's shoulder, leaving the entire family horrified. Julian leaves with the boys, believing BJ did nothing wrong. Chapter 3. The Hemmings return home, where Julian yells and hits Jared for revealing that BJ is just as indisciplined at home as in public. The next day, Bernard finds out about the incident at Julian's parents' home and is disappointed in BJ's actions. Chapter 4. BJ starts prep school and creates a lot of trouble during his tenure. Betty, the Hemmings' housekeeper, notices how biased Julian is with her sons, whether it's how boastful she is about BJ, or BJ has more toys than Jared, despite Jared being a more quiet and disciplined child. Chapter 5. BJ at 10 was shooting arrows in his backyard when one of his arrows fled across to his neighbor's yard, almost hitting his neighbor's grandchild. Bernard arrived home, where he and the neighbor talk about the incident. Julian, as usual, blames Jared, who had nothing to do with the incident, while Bernard confiscates the arrows from BJ. During the night, Julian notices BJ coming inside the house after hearing dogs barking. In the morning, Bernard finds an arrow missing, suggesting that BJ harmed one of his neighbor's dogs. Chapter 6. Bernard's daughters come to visit during the summer. Julian and BJ have a clear disdain for the girls, which goes unnoticed by one of the daughters named Tara Ann. One day, BJ and one of his half-sisters got into a fight, which resulted in Bernard criticizing BJ's behavior, creating a big rift between father and son. The following week, Bernard was missing an envelope of money, which he found in his daughter's luggage. Chapter 7. BJ starts high school and, as usual, causes trouble for his teachers. One of these incidents was when BJ destroyed his teacher's car and left a note with a drawing of an eagle with the words "Gold Eagle Power." Chapter 8. BJ is in 9th grade when he gets invited to a party. Julian and Bernard get concerned when BJ doesn't call for a pickup. The couple goes to the party to find their son. They find BJ unconscious with a bleeding wound near his neck. At the hospital, the doctors reveal BJ overdosed on drugs, resulting in Julian fainting. Chapter 9. After 3 months, BJ recovers and goes back to school. Bernard later discovers BJ had drugs in his room and decides to cut off BJ's allowance so that BJ doesn't buy any more drugs. One day, while BJ was in 10th grade, he gets called to the principal's office. He is told his father got into an accident and was in the hospital. Bernard was in the hospital for 2 months, leaving him unable to walk or talk the same way again. Bernard tells the police what happened on the day of his accident. The car brakes were not functioning, which caused his accident. The police found a gold Eagle Power drawing from the destruction. This suggests to the reader that BJ was the one who cut the brakes off Bernard's car. Chapter 10. Tara Ann visits Bernard while he is recovering at home. BJ and Jared come home from school and greeted Tara Ann before she could quickly leave the house. BJ yells at Tara Ann, causing Bernard to defend her. Jared accuses BJ of planting Bernard's envelope of money in his half-sister's bags. Julian confronts and slaps Jared for his accusation. Jared decides to move out of the house. Then, Bernard's brother and father came to visit the next day and take Bernard out of the house. Chapter 11. Julian goes out to a bushy area in disguise to meet a bush doctor. He gives her a bunch of vials and a jar she can use to help fix her marriage to Bernard and his relationship with BJ. Chapter 12. BJ is in 11th grade when he goes on a night drive with the family's car to pick up his friends to go to a party. The police soon arrived at the party, causing BJ and his friends to flee. BJ speeds away from the party, gets into a police chase, and one of his friends falls out of the car. BJ and his friends were detained by the police. Then Kenton, Bernard's brother, picks up BJ from the station. They return home to find Julian and Bernard were not waking up. After the couple was taken to the hospital, it was revealed that they had a huge amount of sleeping pills in their system. Chapter 13. BJ gets confronted by his extended family regarding the sleeping pills. And just note briefly, I know this description is short, but the chapter is so good. I really recommend reading this one. Chapter 14. With the string of incidents, BJ was taken to the police station regarding the consequences that will come if he breaks the law again. Julian attempts to bribe a police officer to ensure BJ doesn't face major consequences. Chapter 15. Bernard looks for his bank cards to find they are missing. He goes to the bank for an investigation to discover someone was using his cards for recent transactions. I wonder who it could be. Bernard also realizes that his food tasted funny. Hence, he takes a sample to the police. Kenton takes him to a hotel until the investigation unfolds. Jolene was questioned by the police regarding Bernard's cards at a later time. Chapter 16. Jolene and BJ have a conversation regarding Bernard and the police questioning Jolene. They file a missing person report after not hearing from Bernard for a few days. BJ skips schools to search for important documents at home with no success. Jolene and BJ then get interrogated by the police. Chapter 17. BJ skips school and returns home to take a dip in the swimming pool. Bernard appears and confronts BJ regarding the transaction on his bank cards. BJ punches Bernard, knocking him unconscious. BJ returns to school, pretending he was there the whole day. Then he gets picked up by his cousin to go to the hospital. Bernard received severe brain damage. Chapter 18. Jared was asked to take BJ home after visiting Bernard in the hospital. Jared confronts BJ for his actions throughout the past few years while driving home. Eventually, BJ and Jared got out of the car to start a fight where BJ nearly falls off a cliff. Unfortunately, Jared saves BJ. Chapter 19. BJ is at home when Julian calls and tells him to pack his bags. The police have a warrant for their arrest and they plan to leave the country. Jolene admits what she did with Bernard's money. BJ for the first time showed some anger towards Jolene. The police chase after BJ and Jolene until Jolene's vehicle crashed into a shallow river and were eventually arrested for fraud.